All in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like home. Yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you.
Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation where you flow your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
Hello, my people. Welcome to another edition of DBDS Live. I'm your host, Jamal Lawrence, author, relationship advisor, and I'm here with my sister, the DBDS admin, relationship advisor, Cameron, and we are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. So thank you all for joining us on this beautiful evening. And to those who are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscription button so not only you'll be notified of our show, but also you can get early access to all of our episodes related to relationship topics. And listen, not only that, but you can also check out our website for more information, which is dearbrothersdearsisters.com. It is the official site related to healthy and monogamous relationships. But listen, Kim, Happy New Year, my sister. How you doing?
Happy New Year. I am fantastic. How are you?
Listen, I am doing great, my sister. I can't complain. Oh, man. My thing is that last week, Carl's birthday was his enjoyment segue. And now yours truly, my birthday is tomorrow, March 4th. So.
Yes.
Yes, I'm excited. So
happy
it's been
birthday.
A great start this week. Thank you, my sister. I said it's been such a great start this week. April and I end up going to this nice, elegant Chinese restaurant where we went for the first time. I was able to share that passionate first experience and everything.
Yes.
So, oh man, I don't feel like I'm getting old though, man. I'm telling you.
No, absolutely not. No, Well, I'll be behind you guys in about 3 weeks.
Oh, Pisces season is here. I'm telling you.
Nope. I'm an Aries.
Oh, you're Pisces?
Nope. I'm right on the cusp. I'm on the cusp.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm one of those. I'm a March Aries, not an April one. There's a big difference.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting some water from Pisces sprinkled onto my fire. So
I like that, my sister. Listen, I'm so happy and it's so enthusiastic to hosting the show because listen, I have to say that Carl and I, we discussed the perks of marriage last week, which was such a great show because I know this year, Cam.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sis. Absolutely. And we know, you and I both know that this year, a lot of people are craving for a healthy relationship. And I asked Carl this question last week, based on people's New Year's resolutions. Just tell me, just out of curiosity, do you have any short-term goals for 2024?
So I set intentions, and just like the intentions that I set for the beginning of this season of DBDS, I said I'm intending for more committed, healthy relationships that lead to marriage. And, just in conversation from, folks in the group, we're heading that way, full steam ahead. That's all I'm gonna say on that one.
Okay. Listen.
So it looks like the intention is it's going in that direction, which I'm very grateful for. And you know what? My short-term goals are part of my long-term goals. And right now I'm finishing up another book.
Okay.
My goal is to get it out by, if not on my birthday. And I'm really excited about this book because it pretty much takes me out of the physical coach seat, and it's a guide basically on what I've been coaching some people through. And because there's just one of me.
That's right. That's right.
And I feel like the book will be more valuable for people in that they can revisit it, time and time again, get a refresh.
Well, we're looking forward to that book.
Thank
Definitely.
you.
I'm so looking forward to that. And just to piggyback off your vision pertaining to that book, because very soon there will be an announcement related to a DBDS get together. And soon we will have the time, we will have the location later on this year. So just get ready to enjoy this experience for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
And we've been talking about it for a while, Kim. And I'm pretty excited to make that move, because those who are watching the show today, if you are tired of the same scenery, or if you're tired of clubbing every weekend, if you're tired of doing the same thing, just imagine being at a place where you can have these mature conversations. You could share your relationship journey. You could share your wisdom to the next person. And that way we can have that solid, mature conversation like we do right here, right now on this show. So listen, if you're part of the DBDS group, we would love to hear from you and your thoughts about that. And we want you to join, because the group is going to give you all the information we need when we do make these announcements pertaining to our upcoming event and what town and what city we're going to be in. Hey, Kim, I may even throw an open mic poetry at the event when we talk about these conversations.
I'm excited. Yes. And you're right. We have been talking about a meetup for a while. Actually, before that brief moment in time in America's history. But we're back on it. And it's going to happen.
It is. That's manifesting this year. It's definitely going to happen. But this is the perfect segue. We talked about a lot of people thriving for a healthy relationship this year. And today, the title of the show that we're going to hit on is how to improve communication with your significant other. And I just want to get your thoughts. What you think about this topic for today's show?
Communication. I mean, that's really how we understand ourselves as well as each other. And, if we don't feel safe and secure to communicate with our significant other, who do we feel comfortable speaking with? And, a lot of times I believe, just by what I have witnessed, is that when there's a breakdown in communication within the partnership, and then people feel safe and secure with other people to communicate what they need to be communicating here, then that's just a breeding ground for infidelity, affairs, divorce.
Yes.
But this is where the communication needs to be, right here.
Well said, my sister. two people on one accord, right? And that's what we're going to
Absolutely.
break down, because I always hear people stating, oh, you should be a better communicator. That is such an ambiguous term. And today we're going to break down and lay out specific ways on how to communicate with your significant other. So that way you're just not getting such a layup on such a term that you have no idea. It could be tone. It could be about how you dress. It could be your speech pattern. There's so many different aspects when it comes to communication that
Absolutely.
today's show is right up your alley. So thank you all for tuning in. And I see everyone coming into the DBDS Live studio. Shout out to Crystal. Shout out to my brother Douglas. Shout out to Steven, to Angie. Thank you all for tuning in. But listen, Kim, it's about that time. You ready to bring our guest into the studio?
Let's do it.
That's what I like to hear. Class in session. So our first guest coming into the DBDS Live studio. Listen, this sister is amazing. She's very outspoken. She is also a part of an amazing podcast herself, and I'm thrilled to have her back on. I want to welcome back our sister Jenny to DBDS Live.
Hi. Thank you, Tramel, for having me come on again. It's always an amazing. You have an amazing platform, and I'm always honored.
Thank you, my sister.
Welcome back, Jenny.
Welcome back. Welcome back. So we have a lot of viewers coming in. Just tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
Yes, I'm currently in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I am a nurse's aide. I'm also part of the Uncommon Women platform. I also do social media marketing. I have my own business, Jenny Glory Graphics. And as far as that, I am single and I am a mom of 2 young adults, and that's about it. And thank you again. I'm happy that I'm here on this amazing platform.
We appreciate you. I mean, based on everything that you stated, I'm gonna have to update my resume, because you're doing a lot. But I commend you. I salute you, and I'm glad to have you back on as well. Looking forward to some gems.
Awesome.
Yes, absolutely. And next, coming into the DBDS Live studio is a sister who does not follow the trends, and speaks her mind. She's also has that positive energy that is very contagious. I want to welcome for the first time our great sister Candace on the DBDS Live show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
Welcome, sister. Listen,
Thank you.
So tell the people a little bit. Oh, you're welcome. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
All right. Well, my name is Candace, as you all know. I am originally from Washington, D.C. I'm currently residing in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. And I am on the show today to basically talk about this awesome topic of communication. I believe in healthy love, healthy relationships, and communication is an area that we all struggle with in relationships, and we can learn from. So I'm happy to give some insight and to gain some. So thank you so much again for having me.
Oh, pleasures. I mean, I'm telling you, Kim, I know the plate is going to be passed around, because I know these sisters is going to bless it today. They're going to bless the church today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Appreciate you, my sister. Thank you for coming on, Candace. We greatly appreciate you. And you thought that was enough? Nah, we have one more sister. We have plenty of backup. We have one more sister coming into the DBDS Live studio. She is down to earth. A very, I consider her more than just a friend, but she is an amazing sister. I'm so glad to have her back on. I want to welcome back my good friend Denise to DBDS Live.
Hey, thank y'all for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here with like-minded individuals. I'm so happy to be amongst you all. I am in the Florida area. I do coaching myself, and I am just all about the love of God, love of our people. So that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about communication, and I think that transfers over to everything we do in life, every type of relationship. So I'm excited to talk about it today.
Nice.
That's what I love. Nice. And by the way, everyone, these sisters that are sharing the time with us today. That is a birthday gift within itself. My birthday's tomorrow, so thank you all my sisters
Yes,
for doing the show. I greatly appreciate you.
absolutely.
All right. All right, so let's get started on this topic, which is a great topic, by the way, that's going to help out a lot of people. So before we drop some gems, I just want to point out that effective communication allows you and your significant other to feel, I would say, understood, to feel validated and connected. But listen, it's just more just better to being a better communicator. It's the specifics that we're going to touch on today, such as your tone, your speech pattern, and a host of lists of other factors. So before we break this down, I'm going to share this amazing video from my brother Carl, the accountability coach, on how communication can increase your intimacy and connection within your relationship. So check this out.
Hey, DBDS family, Carl the coach here. Hey, awesome conversation on today's topic of communicating with your significant other. I just want to give a couple of quick key tips to that. One of them is, in order to communicate effectively, you have to learn how to listen. We have 2 ears for a reason and 1 mouth. I know that's a struggle for some people, but you have to hear your significant other out. The other thing is learning the 3 T's: time, tone, and text. Timing is, hey, this may not be the right time for me to say this, to communicate this to my significant other. They're not having a good moment, or I'm in a bad mood, and it can lead to a bigger argument. The other thing is tone. Doesn't matter how respectfully you say something, but if you have the wrong tone, it can cause a bigger issue. Last thing is text, the context that you use, because you don't want to use words that would be that you would not want to be used towards you. You know, use the things you should say, what you have to say respectfully, but use the right context in that. And remember, when you're communicating with that person, you know, so saying, you know, treat others how you want to be treated. Having weekly check-ins or bi-weekly check-ins or monthly check-ins, and just communicating where you're at, how you're feeling with one another, where can I do better, how can I support you better. That's all in that communication thing. And I think when we do that, we have effective communication. It also comes from being self-aware. It comes from being healed to a point of dating or being in a relationship, dealing with past trauma. But those are the things that we have to do, and it comes from compromise. I know some people say, oh, there should be no compromise. Yes, we have to compromise even in our communication with our significant other. Continue to enjoy this amazing show tonight. I look forward to seeing the comments.
Okay, Carl. Man, even though he's not here, man, he's still blessing the show. So shout out to our brother Carl. Thank you so much. Listen, my sisters, he laid out pretty good gems in such a visualizing way that listening to the video, how he broke down the 3 T's, the text, the tone, the timing. I believe like these 3 different components that we can all improve on can definitely make you better at your relationship. But the one that stood out to me was active listening, because some people believe that communication is only related to expressing ourselves verbally, but you also have to be able to comprehend and really pay attention to what your partner is saying, which leads us to our first subtopic that we're going to touch on is conversational spark. In other words, conversational chemistry, I like to call it. So my thing is that based off a conversational spark, it should be easy. I mean, easy to talk to your partner, and it should be easy to listen to your partner. And I think it boils down to sharing your experiences, sharing your interests. So Candace, first, you know, I would love to hear your thoughts on the video, and how do you continue to have that conversational chemistry?
Okay, well, first of all, he was so on point. I got some good gems for myself. I was over here writing down. It is very important, everything he said, especially one of my biggest takeaways is always tone. Because I am a very, direct person. Sometimes I come off as aggressive, very assertive, and I have to watch my tone because it's oftentimes taken out of, the wrong context. So that was a very good one for me to chew on. But in terms of, conversational spark, I think it's important that we find the area to, or the space to bring up a conversation and not be afraid to do so. in our relationships. I know for me personally, I'm usually the conversation starter because I love to conversate. I love communication. So just having, having the ability to do that is something I've never struggled with. However, bringing someone in, to conversate with me on that level has been. So I'm really looking forward to how we're going to break this one down for sure.
Okay, my sister. Very well said. Okay. Man, everything you stated, Candace, was right on point because my whole thing is that the whole tone portion. I think that it's important to continue to build on each other's passionate habits because that builds mental stipulation. Even if you have different interests or even if you have a different speech pattern or a different style in how you communicate, I think that if you find that person's passionate habits interesting and vice versa, then the conversational spark will naturally happen. But Jenny, what are your thoughts on our brother Carl's video and what other ways, conversational chemistry can occur?
Everything he spoke on was on spot. I think with me, it's more in the listening because people think they listen, but don't actually listen. So especially when you're having a conversation, and again, people can take it out of context. And what assumptions we have spoke prior to that, and what I wanted to bring it up. So if you're not, you have to listening is also listening to detail. For me, I'm a very detailed person. So if you're speaking on something and I'm listening to you and I'm listening to everything, and then down the line where we have this conversation, I'll be the type to bring it up. So if you're bringing it up in the conversation again, and this person be like, "Oh, I never said that." Yes, you did. Even if, let's say, even if it's, a lot of people nowadays, they use a lot of technology to text. Texting, it's like even in conversation and that's also listening to me in a way because you're texting them, you're listening to them. So sometimes that can be taken out of context as well. So people come to, I go by detail. Details is very important, and especially in listening, because that also gives you an open mind to give feedback and anything to emotions on how they're going to take it. Sometimes you also have to be open, because that's how it also that's how it also sparks the conversation to keep going.
Keep going. Yeah, Jenny, I appreciate your thoughts, my sister. For example, everything you said is on point. I agree with you. My example that I shared with you guys before the show, when April took me out pertaining to my birthday weekend, we went to an entirely new upscale Chinese restaurant, and we had this pleasurable experience to discuss and compare this to other restaurants that we've been to. And let me tell you, I'm telling you, we put the phones down and we turned it upside down, and we had this way of connecting based on this newfound special passion of something new that we're sharing together. The tone was great. I was listening to her. She was listening to me. The tone was very respectful, and it made me even more attracted to her. I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? So I love how you stated that, Jenny. I love everything you stated. But Denise, I would love to hear your gems on this particular topic and your thoughts on Carl's video.
Well, Carl is always dropping gems and definitely missed today. But I so agree with what he was saying about tone, and none of us are perfect. So, you catch yourself sometimes, in that place where you may get upset or you just draw back or do what it is, that you have to do in order to calm down and relax. But I think just building that trust and that intimacy in the way you talk to each other, it plays out in everything. So it can only help you. with how you treat each other, how you speak with each other, you know, that it really just provides that intimacy between one another. Like you were saying with your wife, you just turned over the phones, you just paid attention to her. Women like to talk, and we want to know that we're heard. You know, nobody wants to feel like they're unheard. And so when you're paying attention to us, that makes us excited. We happy, you know. And like Janine was saying, you know, you're paying attention to those details, and then it comes back, and then you may find something you didn't know about us or that we're interested in. Oh, she like daisy flowers instead of roses, and now you go get those daisies, you know, and then that gives you some points. So active listening is definitely you know, one that is needed.
Love it. You hear that, fellas out there? You know, these sisters, they're giving you the gems. That undivided attention is so attractive because you're being very detail oriented that you can pick up some things. Kim, this is so true. I mean, everything that our sister stated is adding to the process of connecting to someone else, because you want to be seen, you want to be heard. Sometimes during these conversations, you want to share if you're opening up, you want to share your most embarrassing moment, or even sometimes your challenging moments, or maybe the most difficult moments you've been through in your life that can build that connection, that conversational spark. But what are your thoughts on the video, Kim, and what would you describe as conversational chemistry?
Oh, well, of course, when I saw the video from Carl, you know, I was like, dang, there's the show right there. Just play that. Oh, we're good. But, you know, he hit on some heavy points, especially, you know, the 3 T's, the text, the time, and the tone. That's huge. But, you know, it's interesting because in Jenny's, Candace's, and Denine's responses, they each hit on something different, but all their differences came from their self-awareness. Candace is aware of her tone of voice. Gotcha. Jenny is aware that she pays attention to details. She really is listening. And Denise is like, well, you know what? It's how we both speak to each other that's going to build trust and intimacy. It's like all these different components coming together for the one, like you said in the opening, like on one accord, the communication. It's necessary. You can't get away from it. And I believe it was Candace who said she's a conversation starter. She's aware of that. Me, I'm aware. I sit back in the cut because I just have to read the room. That's just how I am. That's how I move. And while I can communicate, I can talk to a wall. That's not a big deal. I can talk, but I can also be quiet. Okay. I'm a great listener. I'm a great listener. And just because you're talking, you know, you might be in a position where you just feel like venting to someone and you need someone to what? I think Denise said, to hear me. I can be that. I can do that. I have no problem with that. I like to be heard as well, but I understand that there's one of the T's, a time for me to be heard, and there's a time for someone else to be heard. There's a time for me to be there for somebody else. And that's okay with me, because guess what? I'm gonna get my time. I'm gonna be heard. But right now, it's not that time. And I'm okay with that. So, you know, I think of some people who have written into the group anonymously with their, I hate to say issues. So I'm going to. It is what it is. Neatly. Right. Yeah. Issues. They're issues, right? And a lot of times when I'm reading through these letters, I'm like, oh my God, like I can envision what is taking place. And I always think to myself, well, was that the right time to be bringing this subject up? You just said when he comes home from work, he doesn't want to have a conversation. Yeah, you know what? I don't either. And I'm a woman. When I come home, I need a minute.
Gotcha. Okay.
To drive home from work. I call that my decompression chamber. I'm listening to music. I don't talk on the phone. I promise y'all I don't talk on the phone in the car. Unless it's one of my children and it's something dire. But for the most part, they're typically texting me to bring them whatever. But I just listen to music. It's me like, okay, I'm getting ready to switch gears, go into mom mode when I get into the house. I say, hey, love you. How was your day? Quick. And then I'm like, all right, mommy, time out. And they know what that means. All right, give her about 30, 45, maybe an hour. Give her that time. When she comes into the kitchen, game on. You can hit her with everything. But, of course, that's mom, children, but it's the same dynamic with spouses and significant others coming into the house. Just give them a minute. They ain't going nowhere. They're yours, okay? Just because they're not right there engaged with you, it's not going to kill anything. Just give them that time and you might get a little bit more than you expect. But anyway, yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you sharing that, my sister. Just very great tip. I mean, right now, man. I mean, you guys are blessing the DBDS service right now. Let's just get an amen. Again? Yes. One more time. Okay.
Oh boy, okay, we got a lot of comments.
Okay. All right. So very well said, my sister Cam. I mean, we're going to go ahead and touch further on that as you stated, because just give yourself a breather. That's a great tip when you come home, But let's pull up some comments right now. You're right. We do have a lot of comments. So the first comment that we're going to go on, let's see, this DBDS Anonymous one.
So true, DBDS. My girlfriend and I have crazy chemistry. We also have the same values, outlook on life, and ironic humor. We even have the same personality type. We're equals in every way, intellectually and otherwise. It's very easy to be together, and we don't get bored or confused because talking to each other is so easy to do. Oh, that is amazing.
Okay. Very well said. Thank you, Anonymous Poster. Next one right here.
Chemistry, when you're not used to having it with anyone before, can feel like you did find the one. Sometimes opposites can compromise and feel compatible over time. Regardless of how magnetic the feelings are, our core values will leave us questioning things more.
Well said. Okay. And I'll go ahead and take one more comment right here.
Chemistry can happen on short dates, but connection takes time because people need to reveal themselves. That's why you must continue to find each other's spark. And with my husband, that is so easy to do because he's my best friend. That's awesome.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay. Well, listen, great comments, my people. We greatly appreciate you all for watching the show. Now it's time to take a quick commercial break. We are talking about how to improve communication with your significant other. This is DBDS Live. Don't you go anywhere.
People are having right now. You are living off your sleep, and you're not living off.
Jamel Lawrence, author, relationship advisor.
One of the DBDS Facebook group.
Hey.
I think one of the biggest areas in the continue to talk about it because it's not addressed enough is self-awareness. Until you can be self-aware, you have no idea what your worth is. So you can define your worth whatever you want it to be, but you have no awareness of who you are.
Mindset that school is a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just take the home off the table right now.
Right.
If you don't feel safe in your home, you're going to another place that you don't feel safe at. So if you're a child, not an adult, you're using coping skills, which Eric mentioned, but how appropriate are those coping skills?
Yeah, welcome back. I like that first commercial. Homegirl's like, hey. But welcome back to DBDS Live. I'm here with my DBDS sisters, Candace, my DBDS sister, Jenny, my DBDS sister, Denise, and my DBDS sister, admin and relationship advisor, Cameron. And we've been talking about how to improve communication with your significant other. And the next subtopic that we're going to touch on is conversational death. Oh man, this is going to be a great one right here. Love this topic right here. So I think another component that can increase intimacy within a relationship is the depth of that conversation, and try to avoid these surface level communication. And I believe this is why healthy relationships thrive, because both individuals tend to show each other's vulnerable state. And of course, this vulnerable state creates a domino effect, which creates more empathy for your partner. And that also creates the intimacy and a sense of connection. So Denise, what are your thoughts on this topic, and what would you describe as conversational depth, and how important it is to increase interaction?
I think it's very, very serious that you have those open, serious, in-depth conversations with one another, because it helps you to understand that person. It helps you to understand how they're wired, their do's and don'ts, their turn-ons and turn-offs, their triggers. You want to know, everything about this person, what they think, because that'll help, I believe, you two grow closer. You two get to know each other on a more deeper level, more intimate level. And you find out what you two have in common, their childhood, all of these things. So, and we have to have patience, I believe. Sometimes it's going to take a while. You may have to peel some layers back on some people, because, people have been through things. So it may take some patience, but I think it helps you two to grow closer together. And that's how you build that trust between each other. And just get to know each other on a deeper level, in my opinion. And I think you should ask questions, but as I believe Cameron was saying, you also have to listen. So it has to be, a play with you listening me, and don't be judgmental. We can't push our thoughts and our perspective on the people. Just be that safe place for that person, so that they can come and talk to you about whatever it is that they're whatever their thoughts is on anything. I think a lot of times, sometimes we can push our thoughts and perspectives off on other people. So just allow that person to, just speak their mind, and don't talk over each other. Don't cut each other off. Just be, fun and listen, and just try to respect each other. So that's my thoughts on that.
Okay. I mean, I like how you stated, don't be judgmental. And another thing that you point out was have fun. I think the more comfortable a person is, the more they will open up. A lot of people on these first dates, from listening to other people, it's almost like you being interrogated on the first date, and it's like a therapy session. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't feel that way, because the more it's like you don't want to suffocate the person, and you don't want them to feel like, man, more serious tone. But I have to say, Denise, and to the rest of the panel, one of my favorite shows currently is Love is Blind, because I think it's the perfect example of them being vulnerable, which creates that emotional and mental connection. So by the time the glass door opens, it's like the physical aspect is secondary, because they built such a strong connection. But Jenny, how important it is to have a conversational depth, whether you're getting to know someone or within a current relationship.
As Denise said, it's important. It's important to be vulnerable and to have that safe place. Not only that, when Cameron said you have to be observant, to be observant in the person's emotions and their words as well, so they're able to, you know, so they're able to communicate with you and be open, and they know, like they can. When we have conversations, we have to look at each other, especially if you're face to face. So, and to me, that's important, because if they're looking at you, they're gonna be like, you know what, I can really trust this person and be open to this person, because sometimes we can go off a vibe. I can tell, like, if I'm looking at you, and be like, I don't know if I can really trust this person and be vulnerable to this person. So then when it comes to that part where everything stays up on the surface, so if I can't look at you or have eye contact with you, then I'm just like, I can't be open to you. So this is the part where you have to be observant to that, and just keep your eyes open on just, on how they react to anything you speak on.
That is so true. Very well said. I mean, I love everything that you pointed out. Eye contact, paying attention. We go back to that undivided attention that you hit on, and that is so key. And I love everything you stated, because a lot of people, when they communicate, they got their eyes down. I know Denise mentioned the over talking portion. I know some people that have not picked on the portion or the aspect of communication. They give out a whole monologue and don't let the other person talk. I mean, this is why just saying they become a better communicator is such an ambiguous term. You have to really practice these other key points. But Candace, what are your thoughts on this topic? I mean, I'm loving the valid points that our sisters are making.
Well, this is actually one of my favorites, conversational depth, because I am not a surface level or small talk type of person. I love to go deep, because for me, going deep is the place where you gain understanding, where you figure out the what's and whys of a person, like their actions, what makes them tick. Who are they really? On the surface is when you meet the representative, but when you go deep is where you find the true person, right? And that's where you gain the understanding, and then you can find out where your connection lie, right? And how to deal with the person, how to operate with them. So I purposely go deep. And it does bring people to a place of vulnerability, because when you start to dig, right, you find out people's triggers, their dislikes, their likes. So I think it's the most important place in a conversation, the depth. When you can go deep, that's where you can get to the real meat of who you are and who they are and how we relate to one another, So this is my favorite piece here. And, I make it a point to push those, I don't, over pry, but I make it a point to engage someone or to pull someone slightly out of their comfort zone, because in their comfort zone, they don't give as much, right? They don't open up as much, and they hold back, and you're not really able to get to know who they are. But when you push them slightly out of their comfort zone without violating them, then they begin to open up and let their guard down. And now we're working with some real stuff. So this is my favorite part.
I love that, my sister. Everything you stated on point. And Candace, by the way, may I add that the conversational debt normally begins with open-ended questions. For example, when me and April started our first dates together, I remember her asking me, what are your thoughts on marriage and why? And I'm like, wow, no woman ever just came out and asked these questions, but I had to reveal myself and my intentions and everything like that. And I explained to her that I'm pro-marriage and why I believe it's a three-way covenant between man, woman, and God. And our conversation went even deeper. And I remember her telling me that she was even more attracted to me just based off the answer that I was given. And we just continue to go deep. But Cameron, I mean, this is this conversation, deep conversations, it stretches, it expounds ideas and topics. Yes. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Yeah, I mean, the ladies, they've hit on some some heavy and very important, and I say heavy not in a bad way, but heavy as in it's not lightweight. Like
Gotcha.
the young folks like to say, oh, that's lightweight. No, this is heavyweight here. Okay. This is for the
Gotcha.
real deal Holyfields out there, you know, who want a healthy, happy, sustainable relationship with their person singular. But you know, what really stood out to me was in each of their comments, there was safety, security, patience, safe place, eye contact, undivided attention, presence. Like
Keyword.
these are the cornerstones of healthy relationships. Healthy communication with each other. And, you know, open-ended questions come from curiosity. So you're not enforcing your perspective onto someone. Like one of my favorite lines is, I noticed when you X, Y, and Z, where does that come from? How does that make you feel? You know, because like a lot of times we can be so on autopilot with the things that we do and what we say that when we come around someone who isn't in our brain, you know, and they kind of ask a question like that, that makes us do a hard pause. It's like, oh, wow, why do I? You know, and that sparks that opens the door for a great dialogue amongst partners, you know, hitting on what Candace talked about, you know, vulnerability, transparency, you know, I feel safe enough to be vulnerable with you to, you know, let you in on the 8-year-old version of me and how I viewed the world and how that 8-year-old version of me crops up in situations that look like this. You know, we can have those conversations in our head, but when we're with someone who we trust, we love, we appreciate, we respect, then it's like we're showing another, like Denise said, she said another layer that we've probably never even been aware of until we actually heard those words coming out of our mouths. I know I've been in that situation before. And, you know, you have to allow yourself, not only that person, but yourself, the space to sit in that and to feel that and to be aware of it. And again, if we can be non-judgmental with other people, we by God can be non-judgmental with ourselves first and foremost. Why would we give to someone something so valuable that we would not give to ourselves first? We can't give it honestly and authentically to anyone, honestly, until we do that for ourselves.
Facts.
So, you know, a lot of times, you know, start having deep conversations with yourself.
I like that.
Start there.
Wow. Okay. Well, you see the sisters nodding their heads, man. They're like, wow, that's pretty deep. Having deep conversations with yourself. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, we're gonna go ahead and pull up some comments right now. I mean, the gems, sisters are laying out the gems today. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the first comment right here. Let's see. Oof, you guys are killing me today. All right, let's pull up this one right here.
I'm actually good at holding deep conversations that at a point I considered the daily short talks and stories are useless. So far, 2 and 2 this season. Great topic, DBDS.
Okay, well, we appreciate that. I guess you were referring to our premiere showing today. We're 2 and 2. We're doing good. Okay.
Oh, okay,
Um,
good.
that's okay.
All right. Sierra said yes.
Okay. And let's see here.
I had a deep conversation with my crush. We talked about our secrets. She told me something she never told anyone else before, and I told her something I never told anyone else before. It is weird because it was the first time I felt like I knew her. Nice.
Wow, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and take one more comment. Okay.
I have more of a problem with starting with shallow stuff. Deep is all I want to talk about, to be honest. Otherwise, it's a waste of time, I find, to an extent, of course. Depth, goals, and problems and solutions. All the best stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Appreciate those
some
comments.
people, that's
Okay.
just where
I
they
mean,
operate. Yeah.
there you go. There you go. So great comments, my people. Listen, DBDS family, we're going to go ahead and take one last commercial break. And when we come back, we'll touch on our last topic. And then we'll go ahead and finish off with our Jerry Springer moment. So we are talking about how to improve communication with your significant other. This is DBDS Live. Don't you go anywhere. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to the DBDS Live Studio. I'm here with my DBDS sisters, Candace, my sister Jenny, my sister Denise, and my DBDS admin and relationship advisor, Cameron. And we've been talking about how to improve communication with your significant other. And the last subtopic that we will touch on is conversational frequency. Woo! Man, you see all these different breakdowns. I love it. I love it. Now, I believe, not talking enough, or I'll say speaking enough to your significant other, can definitely lower the attraction level. And by all means, listen, I know everyone have different communication styles. For example, some couples, they do thrive on constant communication, while others appreciate space and less frequent conversations because they're out there handling business. I understand that. But no matter what style you have, it is critical to make sure you're giving your significant other your undivided attention, which means turn off that TV, put the phone down, put the PlayStation 5 controller down, get off social media, and listen, give them an update on how you're doing. Tell them how much you care about them, how much you miss them. Continue to provide those positive affirmations, right? So Denise, what would you consider conversational frequency, and how important it is within a relationship? Oh, what is going on here?
Well, I think it is very important. You guys are spending that quality time with each other when you're getting to know one another. Well, at this point, you're saying you're in a relationship. So you have to keep it going. You have to keep it fresh. You have to converse with each other. You have to keep it fun. You have to keep it exciting. And I know how it goes, day to day life, kids and all of that can, you're handling business and we get busy. But like you said, your spouse should be your first priority, in my opinion, before everything. Make sure that you all are having that communication, that you're playing, you're keeping it fresh, fun, trying new experiences, as Mel was saying. Just always, just being lighthearted. I feel like you should always kind of remain like how y'all first started dating, in my opinion. Those things that made it fun for each other, and just see how each other day went. Just keep it fun and watch. And like we were talking about, that tone and how you speak to one another, and constantly speaking and joking, like joke with each other, have fun, listen to music together, dance together, whatever it is that, your hobbies, watch that TV show together so y'all can discuss it and talk about it. But you have to find that time with one another. You have to. It's just, that's what keeps the glue together, in my opinion.
There you go. I did not know that the picture I had, Denise, before I went on. It was almost like there was a part of the show. But thank you, everyone, for rocking with me. But I like what you stated, Denise. Man, sometimes we'll sit back and relax and watch Martin and have a good old time and just have fun. And I noticed, like, that key word you use, fun. I think that is so critical, And I know some people out there like, well, Mel or Denise, Kim, Jenny, Candace, you guys don't understand. I'm very, very busy. I got a business to run. Listen, you will always make time for that person you love. Period. I just don't think there's no excuse for that, But very well said. Love it. Love it. But Jenny, coming to you, I mean, what are your thoughts on this topic? And I'll throw in another question. With us being so technical, logical, advanced in this dating age, do you think the texting could be a way to continue to build rapport with your significant other with conversational frequency? Like, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts, to be honest with you, I think it's a short-term thing, because again, like we had spoken previously, where things can be taken out of context. It can be taken out of tone. Then you can't really, the person can say anything behind, the phone. They can say anything and you can believe them. But I'm more of a face-to-face person. I think taking the time to getting to know each other, even a FaceTime, you could do that. Seeing each other, chit-chatting on, with Zoom and everything else that, with technologies now. I think taking the time to do that, if you really want to get to know someone and talking to them, that was another way. Because you're still face-to-face. You're seeing them. You're seeing their expressions. You're you're having those open-end conversations. You can still feel safe. But when you're texting on the phone, and then sometimes it takes a bit for someone to even reply back to you, and you don't even know what they're going to, you're sitting there thinking, like, what are they going to really reply to what I'm saying? Or are they really thinking that I'm really being open, even though you're being open? And sometimes they don't know, because it's behind a thing that's blocking. So I feel like texting can be good short term, but I think face-to-face conversations are much more imperative and important, because again, communication is key. You're with each other, you're giving the eye contact, you're feeling each other, you're feeling the vibes, the chemistry, and the connection. It's all there face to face when you're just sitting together and taking that time, and as far as the tone, the person can correct you, like, hey, I don't feel comfortable the way you're speaking to me, and that you're able to fix that. You can't fix that behind the text, because somebody can still take, once again, assumptions and misunderstandings.
Okay. Very well said. Okay. Yeah, very well said, Jenny. I appreciate your comments. And I'm old school as well. Like I prefer to be in person with someone, because you're right. You can see the nonverbal language on how someone reacts to you and how they respond to you. And I consider that when someone is enthusiastic to be around you, just based on how their vibe and their energy is and so forth, I consider that quality time. So I agree with you. Candace, what else would you like to add to this amazing topic pertaining to conversational frequency?
Okay, well, I think the frequency is very important. I think, honestly, it brings it all together. It brings the spark and the depth all together with the frequency because there's different forms of, ways that people communicate, verbally, non-verbally, visual, and written. And like Jenny said, the text, yes, it can be taken out of context. However, you can flip it and use all those things as ways to communicate. Like in the middle of the day, if both of you all are typically having busy days, you can shoot a text. It doesn't have to be a long in-depth text. You can say, hey, I miss you, I love you, just thinking about you, right? Doesn't have to be much, to you don't have to figure it out. It's just saying, hey, I'm communicating with you even in my short time, and then that's written. But then when you're around each other, say, so you're doing something, the nonverbal comes in, you can shoot a look, like, hey, I'm thinking about you, or a smile, like, you're on my mind. I see you're over there busy, but you're on my mind. And then of course, you have the verbal where you come and you talk. I think all of it is important. And because everybody has different styles, it's good to be frequent at testing, what style works best with your spouse, right? So if you incorporate all those things, you find out the areas that's best to communicate. And then you also let them know that, hey, no matter what, yes, we have, day-to-day life, but you're most important to me no matter what. And I want to keep the lines open. So even if I can't talk to you right now, I can text you, I can, or write you a little note, or I can shoot you a look because, hey, you're important to me. And that's what communication is about. That brings the vulnerability. That brings the intimacy, right? To keep it going. The frequency is very important. So that's what I have to say about that.
Ooh, very well said. I'm telling you. Whoa. Okay. Very well said for blessing the church. I appreciate that, my sister Candace. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, when I think about frequency, you have to keep that link going. It's not as if you build this conversational spark that we talked about and then have these in-depth conversations, but all of a sudden stop talking to someone for like 2 months, no frequency whatsoever, no check-in, no nothing. And then you expect to pick back up. Well, by that time, the attraction level is low, and that person is going to pretty much just state like where you haven't been doing daily checks up with me and so forth. So it's very important to have that frequency, no matter how busy you are, to check in with your significant other to see how they're doing and tell them how much they care. And I like how you all share about the texting aspects, how to use it, when to apply. That's also critical as well. But Cam, very valid points from our sisters. I'll come to you about the texting portion. Can that be tied into the conversational frequency? And also, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, definitely. Speaking from experience, I have used the text in the aspect of conversational spark during the workday. And it's all because I was just thinking about you. I know how busy you are. I miss you. But you also light my fire. I'll respond to that. I'll respond to that intuitive nudge to do that. And I've always gotten an amazing response back. It was and that was it. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't lead to like this long drawn out back and forth conversation. And I was fine with that because guess what? We're both working. So it goes back to the whole, like, there's a time and a place. And in those times and places, you've got to understand that they got something going on and you got something going on. Right. But at the end of the day, y'all are still what it is. And can't nothing separate that. So just, keep it a little fun and funky here and there. And then keep it moving.
Love that. Okay. I love that. I mean, the service is going down today, and my peoples. I know some people think that conversational frequency is talking for an entire 2 to 3 hours. No, that's not what we're talking about.
No,
It's just
no.
showing somebody how you care about them, just checking in, and you shouldn't be afraid to talk to your best friend. Like, if this is someone that
No.
you want to spend the rest of your life with, it should be easygoing. It should be fun. It should be telling this person how much you care about them. And Kim, that example that you gave, I mean, how can somebody not take that as, well, I'm not gonna reciprocate something back? I'll find that. I'm like,
Well,
wow, this person's really thinking about me.
yeah, really thinking about you. Yeah, absolutely. You know,
Mhm.
that's yeah.
Yeah. So listen, we're going to hit up on some last comments on the show before we touch on. We're just going to switch gears to the Jerry Springer moment out, but I'll touch on some last comments. Let's pull up my sister right here.
Sometimes it's simple gestures and responses that makes a person feel loved, thought of, and appreciated. Absolutely.
So facts. Well said, my sister. Next one right here.
Yes. In this day and age, it's tough when all the same aged people around you are still too immature to talk about about things other than superficial matters. Superficial can be more fun, of course, but it can be suffocating.
I hear you. Pull up this last comment right here. And
I have more of a problem with starting with shallow stuff. Deep is all I want to talk
Did we read
about,
this?
to be honest. I think we read this one.
Read that one already, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so I think that's all the comments we have so far. So right now, we're gonna take the very, very, very last commercial break. And when we come back, we are going to touch on our Jerry Springer moment. No, nobody up here want to know who the baby daddy is. Nothing like that. Jerry Springer moment. Sit tight. We'll come right back. This is DBDS Live.
I could be your dream, be your fantasy. I could be your only, I could be the one. Give you good love, girl, I know you need some. We could keep a secret, tell no one. I could be your
pure moment where high vibrations of love exist. Advice like DBDS, fixing relationships. You're a reason we both hustle and shine. Your reason to evolve in a pure moment of time. Are you tuned into everything you always wanted? None have done it like I. You're gaining from it in your eyes. I know you're running relaxed. Your mind, body, and soul. I think I'm on to something purifying. Your core values in life is either all or nothing.
I could be your dream, be your fantasy.
All right. Welcome back, my people, to the DBDS Live studio. I'm here with my lovely sisters, Denise, my sister Candace, my sister Jenny, my sister Kim. And listen, we've been having great conversations today. Thank you all for tuning in. And right now, it is about that time for our Jerry Springer moment. This is the time that we do summarize our show and so forth. But before doing so, listen. Not only you can listen to us on YouTube, but you can also check us out on the Amazon Fire, Pure Moment Network, Roku, all these great, amazing apps. All you have to do is just type in Pure Moment Network, and you get to see myself as well as my sisters live on your TV. So make sure you download that app, which is free. And listen, we just appreciate you all. And those that are watching on YouTube, please make sure you hit that subscription button because that only helps out with the channel. All right. But first, I am coming to my great sister Candace. Give the people who is watching your final thoughts for today's show.
All right. Well, my final thoughts are just understand that communication is one of the most important things that you can have in a relationship. So never stop trying. I know sometimes it can be difficult, but it is in the trying that makes the difference, right? When a person sees that you care about them and that you believe in them and you want to create a safe space for them to communicate with you, to engage in that level of intimacy is very important. So when you show that, just be consistent at it. I'm telling you, it makes the difference in your relationship. So that's all I had.
Very well Very well said, my sister. And next, I'm coming to my sister Denise. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
All right. My final thoughts is to stay flirty, stay fun. I'm going to say that again. You know, spend time with each other, understand each other, be nice to each other, forgive each other, don't judge each other, affirm each other, love on each other, listen to each other, pay attention to the small details. Don't become redundant. Try to stay fresh. Try to be, you know, unpredictable and just, you know, grow with each other. And that's my final thoughts for today.
Woo, love it. And next, I'm coming to my sister Jenny. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
My thoughts are to, again, be consistent, be open, make sure that you're listening, make sure that you stick with details, and just continue to be consistent. Consistency and communication go together, and without those things, nothing, it will just bring chaos into any type of communication. And most of all, be open and just make sure that you can have that safe place with any person, your spouse or whoever you're getting to know. If you're dating, just be vulnerable, because if you want to get to know people, you have to be able to come in that place where you're consistent and having that communication with one another.
Woo, man. I'm loving these key terms: consistent, fun, flirty. I love it all. And next, I'm coming to my great sister Cameron. Listen, what an amazing show. And this is the best birthday gift I have received.
Oh, yay. Yes. I'm so happy to hear that.
Oh, we're 2 and 2, like our anonymous poster stated. So
yes.
What are your thoughts on today's show?
Yeah. So let's knock this one out the park, right? So I would just like to leave the viewers with: seek first to understand and not first to respond through active listening, because communication is the gateway to creating trust and building intimacy, which are two key pillars in a healthy and happy and abundant relationship, which is something we all should be striving for. And on that note,
love it, my sister. Love it. Yes, that's what we all should be striving for. And before I provide everyone with my final thoughts, I want to thank this amazing panel. Thank you for celebrating and being a part of my birthday weekend. I greatly appreciate you all, my sisters. I really do. But my final thoughts for today's show was that, you know, people within healthy relationships bond in different ways over different things. Perhaps a connection could be formed over similar music tastes, or an obvious embarrassing moment, or I would say challenging time in your life, which creates that conversational spark. And that leads to the road of a deep conversation, which is beyond the superficial. But to continue to obtain and maintain your connection, you must also have conversational frequency. Even if you're an extremely busy man or an extremely busy woman, to provide your significant other with quality time with no distractions, because the thing is, you can't do so if you truly care about that person. You will make the time. And trust me, when you're enthusiastic to learn and enjoy each other's passionate habits and practice to becoming a better communicator, your foundation becomes stronger, the attraction level increases, and both will enjoy life together on one accord. So once again, I want to thank this amazing panel, and much love to the DBDS family.
all right. And before I say what I'm about to say, Mel, have an amazing birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, my brother.
Thank you, my sister. I appreciate you.
Mel, take it away.